Hello, Fight Insight fans, viewers, and listeners. I'm your host, as always, Timmy B, and I had to come back to re-record an intro for this podcast because of something that was terrible that came out just before we started filming and while we were filming online that really shocked and saddened me. Good friend of mine, good friend of the podcast, Trap Daddy Gambino, he announced that his youngest daughter had passed away. And I am so sorry, Trap, for your loss. You and your family are in my thoughts and prayers. I ask all of you out there to please do the same. Respect his privacy, but please do keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers as well. It is a terrible, terrible, and sad news. And it's a reminder to tell those that you are close to that they are loved every day. I don't know how to address it, but I wanted to. The show that we have today is a good one. It's with 7-time guest of the podcast, Bryan BamBam Barberena. It's fight week for him. He's in Fighter Hotel, UFC Thompson versus Holland. He's the co-main event. We talk about Kayla Harrison. We talk about Glover Teixeira. We talk about him making people shave funny beards, jumping into the arms of the commentators. And with me as co-host second week in a row is Braydbunch. You guys love Braydbunch. You've been sending me lots of notes and love. And so I was so happy that I had Braydbunch back on the podcast as well. Guys, please do enjoy the show. But like I said, tell those you are close to that you love them. It is so important to do that every day. Here we go with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fight Insight Podcast. Let's talk.
I'm going to need a BamBam hoodie because check this, Braydbunch. I got all my BamBam attire on. I've got my thing. I've got this shirt. Bam, my wife does not really like me wearing this one to bed because it's just your face staring at her the whole time. I know you can see that one with this one. But I need a BamBam hoodie, Bam.
All right. I'll work on it and see what we got. See what we can do.
It's hot with all this BamBam clothing on. Bam, when did you find out you were going to be co-main, and are you even sure you're co-main still?
Actually, where's that? Let's see this. I have it right here. Actually, that's a good question. I didn't even look at the sheet.
Yeah.
I am co-main.
You are co-main?
And look at that. The light just shined on me as I said it.
Nice.
I am co-main. I found out. Honestly, people kept saying it, but like I never, believe it at all because, well, like it didn't say in my contract when I signed for this fight. So, and things get moved around all the time, and I never believe it until like actual fight week, and I get here and I see it on the paper because, like I said, things get moved around all the time, and you never know. So people kept saying it, and then all of a sudden, like I asked a source of mine that I have, who does like announcements and stuff, and I was like, hey, I asked him I think like 2 weeks ago, and I was just like, hey, am I the co-main event? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, is it confirmed? And he's like, yeah, they confirmed it like 3 weeks ago. I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, I had no idea, so at least I know now. So like, really, I knew like officially 2 weeks ago.
Nice, man. Congrats on that, because this is a massive card, right?
Yes, it is.
I feel like this card from top to bottom is a great card with like fan favorites all over the place.
Yeah.
And you have been getting lots of fan love online, Braydbunch. Check out this art that Bam shared.
I love it.
Heck
Someone made that for you?
Yeah.
I love it.
It still surprises me that people make art of me and stuff like that. Even say nice things or whatever, reach out and send me stuff. Like it just blows me away that people are taking their quality time, their special time in the day just to make something of myself, and it just really blows me away. I can't, it's just hard to believe that people want to do that for me.
That's awesome.
No, man, you're such a good guy. Of course people want to. And I do have to mention, this was from Pipe Angel Art. So, and I reached out to them, Bam, and I said, hey, can I use this for the podcast cover art for this pod? And they said yes.
Your message to them, or your like comment to them. So
yeah, I thought that was so cool, man. This is like awesome art.
I wonder if that would make a good hoodie. You said you wanted a hoodie, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Let them know you're plastering that on hoodies. And maybe a nice Snuggie so that my wife can see that at nighttime as well. Just a giant cartoon Bam.
That's what
At
she
night.
wants to see. Yeah.
Bam, last time you were on the, I think it was last time you were on the podcast, Braydbunch, we asked Bam if he preferred boobs or butts, because that's what we were talking about. But Bam, this time I'm gonna, it ties into this, and then I gotta ask you something. But here's something that's been going quite annoying on my Instagram feed is the Bisbing catch with
Okay.
Demopoulos. Do you know about this?
Know about it? No.
Do you know how that girl keeps jumping into the arms of the commentator when she wins?
Girl, I didn't realize it was the same girl. I wasn't paying. I was looking at like all the circles like around the hand placement. I was like, okay, where are we going? Where's he going with the next question?
So this girl, Vanessa Demopoulos, Braydbunch, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
So the first time she wins Bam, and she was a former dancer, like a pole dancer.
Okay.
She jumps into the arms of Rogan, like into his arms like that to celebrate. Then in the second win, she jumps into Bisbing's arm, but Bisbing like kind of doesn't catch her, and it's kind of like, I didn't know if he's like, whoa, I'm not doing this,
Yeah.
And people got mad at me when I said that. They're like, how dare you? But then this third time she jumps into Bisbing and he like just cradles her in. Like I'm gonna show it again, Bam. Look at the analysis I do here.
First time, second
right?
time. Okay. Yeah.
Right. He's cupping the
more ready. More ready.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel he was ready both times, but this time he really wanted it. So Bam, I want you, when you knock out Dos Anjos, I want you to jump into the arms of the commentator.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Oh, they're dropping me. 100%. I don't think their arms are even coming to catch me. Like, no. They'll be like, what in the world is this guy doing?
Yeah, that's just kind of crazy to me, man. Like, just jumping into the arms. Bam, I know you and I are old souls. What do you think about that? The girl jumping in.
I don't know. I think it's a little much on it. Like jump into your corner's arms or something, jump into that. He's there to, just talk. He's got the microphone. Whatever, do your little.
Yeah.
I know you're excited.
Yeah. It's a little bit strange. And now it feels a little bit forced. Like the first time was kind of like, oh, it's a spur of the moment thing.
Yeah.
But now you're doing it every time.
It's like almost like, well, I mean, yeah, if I jumped in her arms, you're not going to catch me.
I think you should do it to prove that there's nothing wrong with it, Ben.
Yeah.
I think you should jump into Bisbing's arms.
Yeah.
With the co-main event, is there any added pressure, stress?
Not at all. No, nothing. I'm just here to have a good time.
Nice.
No matter. Actually, you know what? There is a little bit. I have to wait longer in the day now to eat pizza. Like instead of like having pizza earlier in the day, now I gotta wait till midnight. I gotta worry about pizza places being closed and not available. So it throws off my pizza time. And so I gotta figure that out. Now I'm gonna have maybe have some cold pizza, have it waiting already at the hotel because the pizza places are closed. So gosh, it's a serious matter here. So
yeah,
we're figuring it out.
This is tied to the weigh-in?
No.
So are you still eating pizza at this moment?
Absolutely not. No.
All right. I was like,
I wish.
Like, you made weight that well? I'm like,
no. So I don't touch pizza even after weigh-ins. I save it for completely after the fight. So I don't even eat it all camp or whatever. Even like I do a weekly cheat meal through camp and stuff, but it's never pizza. Pizza always waits for after the fight.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What is your go-to cheat meal? Is it the same thing like every time or?
Every time, same thing. Yeah, it has to be. I've gone off track a couple times and tried something else because like I was craving it, and it just always disappoints. So there's this Mexican restaurant that's near my house, and it's like cheesy rice and chicken and steak and chorizo, and you get like tortillas on the side and chips and salsa, and It is fantastic, and it just hits every time. It's like every single time, it's always good. So yeah, never steer away from that. And then we moved, so now I've been finding this other Mexican place that I found because it's pretty much the same meal. And tried a couple different places and didn't work out. It wasn't as good, but I did find this one place that matches it. So
All right, good.
yeah.
Nice. And Bam, this is the first card that you're on with BamBam.
Yeah.
It's a dual BamBam card. You got BamBam Tuivasa. What's that?
Can you believe it?
It's the greatest moment of our lives. Yeah. This is fantastic.
I mean, the fight world is blessed right now. I mean, double BamBam action. When does that happen? They're in for a dang treat. I mean, we fight pretty much the same. So go out there and just BamBam people up. I mean, that's what we do. I'm a fan. Dude. I like the guy. I mean, I'm not gonna. People keep asking me if I'm gonna do a shoey with him, and I'm just not for it. Like, okay, there's an exception. If it has to be a brand new shoe, no one's wore it, or my wife's shoe, because I do my wife's shoe, or a brand new shoe, and I don't want some random person spitting in mine.
Who's supposed to spit in it? Random person or you?
No, everybody. Me, him, whoever is around. They always, or whoever gives you the shoe probably is the first person.
Look, man.
Another person that just gets me even worse. Like, I would not drink out of my own shoe. My feet sweat, and I know, and like, no, I would not drink out of my shoe, even my own shoe, and I definitely don't trust some random person's shoe.
Yeah.
Brand new shoe or my shoe. That's it.
I think you get a shoe prepped, and backstage you got to do one with BamBam. When both of you guys are victorious, you do it together. That's going to go viral. Make sure you get a good angle, good lighting, right?
Nice. Yeah, you know, I'm all about that. I'm all about the angles and the lights and
figure it out. Yeah, no, that's going to be amazing. But I remember on your podcast, like back when BamBam was unknown.
Yeah.
And you guys were looking at the card that time and you're like, wait, this guy's got the same name as me. Who is this guy? And you're like, yeah, who is? And then, unbeknownst now, years later, here you guys are. Like, I think he's right under you, right? And two BamBams on the same card are one of the best cards of the year. So
awesome. I know.
Incredible. I'm so happy for that, man. I think that's going to be amazing. I wanted to just get to a few topics because I don't want to. You're going to talk about the same thing with everybody, right? Like all these interviews are going to be the same.
Probably not. I talk about some different things with you, Aloof.
Yeah. Bam, Glover Teixeira. I want to get your thoughts on this, my friend. Glover Teixeira, did you see how he was a little bit upset and he got removed off the title fight? Did you see this?
I mean, I saw that he wasn't fighting anymore. I didn't realize that he was removed from it. I saw that Yuri got hurt.
Yeah. So poor Yuri is hurt. He's apparently really bad shoulder surgery or shoulder injury. So he vacates the belt.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super respectful of him.
Yeah. Super cool. Yeah. Doesn't want to hold up the division, all the things that like a true champion should say. So he says all that, vacates the belt. He's supposed to fight Glover, of course. Then Glover, they say, okay, Glover, you can fight Jan for the belt. Glover says, okay, well, give me like an extra few weeks.
Yeah.
Because I got to prep for like a different guy now.
Yeah.
And then they said no. And that's the story that he puts out there.
Yeah. Okay.
And so then UFC is like, well, we need a championship fight for our pay-per-view. So I guess it's going to be Jan versus someone, whoever it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shitty deal.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I get like giving another time, but I think they're trying to save that pay-per-view too. And they want to have a title fight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand that part. It just sucks that, it's understandable for him to want the extra time, to prepare for a completely different kind of matchup and everything. So, Damn. Yeah, that's shitty.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, but he gets the next. You got to assume he's going to be next in line, right? This fight happens, and he's automatically in the spot. So, I mean, if that's how it is for sure, then it's not really okay. Well, that's not that bad. Then you'll have a full fight camp to prepare for this person, whoever wins, and that's not a doesn't turn out to be a crappy deal, I guess.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't get injured in this time.
Yeah, I guess. Like he's already been preparing. He's almost already there.
Yeah. I think it's like, I mean, from the news that was online, it was always they thought John Jones was going to return against Stipe for this card. That was like, they kept hoping that was going to happen. At least the fans kept hoping that. So you're right. They get stuck. They're like, okay, shoot, we've got nobody left for this card. We've got no championship. We got to put something on. But when it's not Jiri, when it's not Glover, it's like, okay, is this even going to be a great pay-per-view now anyways?
Yeah.
Like, what's the value of that fight, of that title, if it's against competitors that you're like, okay, but these weren't even the 1 and 2 guys.
Yeah. That one guy's been taking out a lot of people.
Who's he fighting?
Not Jan, the other guy.
Yeah. The Russian guy.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's that. But okay, but you agree, right? That, hey, yeah, Glover should have been able to get a little bit of time, but then also agree that UFC needs a title fight for the card.
Yeah. So, I mean, I see both sides. It's a crazy deal. So it's like for Glover, it's just like, do you just take the risk or, nah, basically.
Yeah. I don't know. That was a tough one. And BAM, USA won today for World Cup.
Did they?
They won 1-0. 1-0. I think it was 1-0.
Who did they play?
And who did they play?
Iran.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they won. So BAM, I guess that answers my question. Are you watching the World Cup?
I have not been. I've been
laser focused.
Yeah, I've been deep into camp. My son tells me about it. Yeah, my wife said, son talks about it. My oldest, he's our sports guy. He follows every sport and like knows all the names and the team who's playing and everything. All of the rest of us just really focus on like fighting and watch fights, which he does too. He can tell you everything about fighting too, but he watches all the sports. And yeah, I've been focused on camp, and then when I'm not at camp and just really spending time with the family and being on the farm and stuff. So it's just, yeah, not really like my corners were watching the game on the plane. I don't even know which game it was, but they were watching one of the games on the plane on the way here. So, yeah, I haven't been watching.
No, okay, all right. Tying into the last podcast that you were on with me, you were representing Korea, South Korea, on your shorts. Can you tell us who you're representing this time?
Yeah, this time I'll be representing Colombia.
Nice. So, are you going with the yellow shorts then? Does that mean yellow? Nice.
Yeah. And surprisingly, I got to actually choose, like, well, I mean, you only get certain colors for whatever you represent. I mean, we've had this conversation before. It's kind of weird, but yeah. So normally you give like 2 options. So if it'd be like yellow, black, or white, and I just gave my one option, yellow. And see what they get back to me, because I mean he has a choice too. Of I think if he, Brazil or whatever, it's yellow, black, or white too. So, but it just so happens, I guess I'm in the red corner, so I got priority. So, did not even know that when I said my shorts or anything. I just hoped that they wouldn't be like, well, he's wearing the yellow, so because I've had that happen to me before too.
Where someone takes your color. Wait, red corner means you're second to enter.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, doesn't that mean that you're the favorite?
No. So, okay.
I thought that's what that means.
I've heard it both ways before. I've heard like if you're the favorite, you walk out second. I do know that like if you're ranked higher, well, I think if you ranked higher, you walk out second.
Yeah.
But I think because he is ranked at lightweight. But I think because he's coming up a weight class and he's coming off a loss, and I'm on a 3-fight streak right now. it vetoes his number at lightweight.
Yeah, of course it does. He's coming to your house, right?
Yeah.
No, that's okay. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said, I don't need no number.
No, okay. That said, when you're victorious here, you will be on a 4-fight win streak, legend after legend after legend after legend. What's your call out here at the end of this one?
I don't really have one. Let's just I'm gonna enjoy Christmas with my family, enjoy our time together, and really focus on that. And I don't know, we'll come together and see what happens. But
No. Okay, Bam. No, I'm interrupting this. You have to no. Last time you were too nice. Remember that fight when the crowd was booing you and you were like, "I love everybody," and then there were the memes of you like the Simpsons character and all that. You're too nice.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a statement. 4 wins in a row, legend after legend after legend. I say you just stay in the cage. You don't even leave, and you say, "I'm going to watch the Holland versus Thompson fight, and I'll fight the winner right after that." And you just don't even leave the cage, and you make them drag you out that you're so fired up.
No, leave me. No.
Take it. Because I like that fight. Do you like Thompson and Holland?
I do. Yeah, I like that matchup. I mean, there's obviously guys that I'm interested in fighting. Some of them have numbers, some of them don't, and honestly, it doesn't really matter. It matters on how they fight and their style that excites me. So I would like to test myself against them, and I think it'd be a great fight. So there's definitely names, but I'm open to fight anybody and everybody. I know the UFC media, people, friends, everything, family, they want me to, turn into this guy and talk it up and, be this and be loud, and make a scene or whatever, almost just, create some attention and draw some fans in or whatever. Well, that's not me. And, I plan to stay true to who I am from the beginning to the end. So I'll be me, and if you don't like it, that's okay. If you do, awesome. But it's not gonna bother me. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. And hopefully, I mean, what my plan is just I'm gonna speak loud and I'm gonna be loud when I'm performing. When I'm in there and I'm putting on fighting, you're gonna see how loud I am because it's gonna be in every action, every strike, everything I do in there is gonna be loud. So. Um, they're gonna like it or they're not gonna like it. But I'm just gonna continue this legend tour. And it's not even the legend tour. That was never for, obviously I've been fighting legends my last few fights, but it's the legend tour is me. I am the legend and this is my tour.
I love that.
Bam always does these, like, he goes off on these like these monologues of like deep emotional, right? I love it, Bam. I mean, that's why you're the best friend of the podcast by far. Like, just so true, so honest, man. Like, I keep trying to get you to turn into a 7 times on the podcast, Braydbunch, 7 times.
That's awesome.
This guy has single-handedly saved my podcast on multiple occasions from going bust.
And so down to earth and humble too, right? So yeah, and I know I appreciate just being here. See, this is where I want to ask you a question, but I feel like you don't want to answer it.
Go ahead, ask away.
I wanted to ask because you're like, oh, I don't want to call anyone out, but I always wonder about fighters with losses, right? Yeah. Is there anyone that you didn't get the win from? And maybe if you don't have to answer this, that like in your heart and mind, you're like, yes, I would love an opportunity to let's take it back. I think I'll win this time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I can tell you from like deep down in my heart, every single fight that I've lost, every single fight that I lost, I want to fight him again. And get another go at him. There's definitely, I mean, for sure, off the top of my head, I mean, the Vicente Luque fight, I lost that one with 6 seconds left. And, the dude is a stud. Like, he's a great dude inside and outside of the cage. Like, I mean, we've talked a few times through social media and everything like that. Like, I'm a huge fan of his and respect the hell out of him. And honestly, it was my favorite fight. Like, it was a super fun fight. You know, even though I lost, it was still my favorite fight. So I'd love to share the octagon with him again, and, you know, let's go some more rounds, and you know, whatever. Even if, you know, whatever he wins again, it's not a big deal for me. It's just more of the joy and the excitement of what kind of fight it is. But yeah, other guys too, like Leon Edwards, he's a champ now. You know, I fought him. And
Knocked him down, rocked him.
That back, yeah. So, but it is what it is. You know, these fights are in the past, and you know, they're moving up. I'm moving up. You know, there'll be times when they slip and they move down, and then there'll be times where I slip and I move down. So maybe our paths will cross again at the right time when they're supposed to. And when that opportunity comes, I'd love to take advantage of it.
All right, awesome.
Those videos have been making the rounds too of the Leon Edwards knockdown. I think people
they have. I mean, it's not a big deal. I just, like, people share it and repost it. I'm like, I mean, they share it. I'll just, like, you know, share it back or whatever. But it's never like, you know, hey, look what I did to you. You know, look what I did to you. I did that, and I don't. It's whatever. You know, he won.
Yeah.
You know? So. But there's moments, you know, there's always moments, and it's a great thing. And like I was telling you, if I get the opportunity, you know, he's done great. He's improved a lot, and look at him now. He's the champ. So if I can just continue to win fights and do great myself, maybe we'll meet again.
I'm looking forward to just watching you fight anyone, but
I don't think anyone's looking forward to fighting Bam again, though. Right? Like, I was thinking today, Bam, your fight style has gotten more and more bloody and aggressive. Like, it's gotten worse for your opponents. Like, my wife borderline cannot watch your fights anymore. Not only because she loves you from coming on the podcast and she feels like she knows you, but because your fighting style has become more and more violent. I do want to ask, who the hell spars with you? Like, how would you even replicate your sparring in training? Like, it just seems too damaging. Like, I don't understand who's going to stand across from you.
So I actually don't really spar anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah, I haven't sparred in quite a while. I think this camp was the first time, like, I didn't even really spar, but I took more contact than I normally do. So I normally do, like, very little head contact at all in camp. And that started like a few years ago. But I mean, honestly, it's been great. Like, the way we've changed up my training and kind of done things. The way I train now, I'm actually emulate the way I fight, like, to a T, and like helps my conditioning, everything. Like, it helps me get ready for fights even better than it was before, doing these hard sparring rounds and, you know, crazy amount of contact and everything like that. Like, I feel in way better shape, way more prepared. And why the hell am I wasting it in the room? Just save it and go out there and, you know, take it all in there and whatever. But one night, why not? Like, save it up and, you know, save my head as much as possible. And, you know, if I need to take a beating on a Saturday night, let's go do it. So, you know, I'm prepped and ready. And people say, like, sparring, you know, you need to spar, you need to be able to see it and everything. Well, I understand that for, like, younger fighters and stuff like that. It helps, you know, get you prepped and conditioned and everything. But really, the way I'm training now, I'm seeing everything. I'm getting the feel of like a sparring, but not really getting the contact and everything, and really putting up a high intensity, high volume, but low impact.
Interesting. I find this so fascinating because, so fascinating.
But even from the outside eye, like some people will look at my sessions and be like, "Man, those guys are sparring hard," and it may look like that from the outside eye, but there's very little contact going on. It's just a matter of just like touching, and of a high volume. But really, I'm barely touching the person, if touching them at all. You know.
I'd like to confirm that with one of your sparring partners to see what they say.
They're all gonna, yeah.
This bastard is knocking me out every time.
So I had a different a training partner that I brought in for this camp specifically. He's been training at the gym for a while. I've obviously been, trained with him a few times before, and talked to him often, know the guy and stuff. But he was like the perfect match to help me get ready for RDA. So, I've been doing private camps pretty much at my gym where I pick a few select guys and run like a small group. Also because of how I train, it's a lot different than just going in with a big group and running the drills and doing all this stuff. It's a lot more unique in a sense. So it takes a few weeks for them to adjust and for me to adjust with them too. And then we kind of find that balance of, all right, this is how it's going to be. And, kind of rein them in a little bit from what they're used to, which is just, hard sparring and throwing hard and all this stuff, and kind of, I hate saying to groom them or whatever, but, I want to make sure I'm getting the most out of my sessions. And then also, they're getting good work too, but, we're staying safe and, running it how I want to run the camp. So, it's been great. And like I said, I brought a new guy in, Danny Zia. He actually fights next Saturday at Global Legion, is a local promotion in North Carolina, which the fight's in South Carolina. But yeah, so he'll be on that. He's actually making his pro debut.
Good for him.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of grooming, did you make him grow a giant thick mustache to replicate RDA?
I did.
Did you
really?
I swear to you, I did. It was one of the qualifications he had to have. He had to cut a mustache because he has like a goatee. And actually, okay, so I was like, okay, if you're gonna be my camp, me and my coach were like, you have to cut a mustache. And we started. His name all camp was DDA. Danny Dos Anjos, DDA, all camp DDA.
Nice.
Cut the mustache, but then we let him grow it back because he had like a wedding to go to, family wedding. So he was like, I'm gonna grow it back and whatever. But I told him he had to cut it before we got here, but he didn't. So we're gonna make sure that that's right before fight night. So
good. I can't believe you actually did that. That's so.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
of course. We sent the picture and everything. It was like, you need to like this.
That's so funny. I know you love, you're such a nice guy. Obviously, this comes across every podcast we have you on. And you always say like, well, I want to have my moment with my opponent, whatever. RDA does seem like a nice guy, though. I feel like of all your opponents, Bam, this is the guy that you're actually going to be able to see in the hotel and have a moment with. I know you just got in, but is that going to happen? You feel it, right?
I mean, if we cross paths, I feel like, he at least like a handshake kind of guy, like whatever. I think for sure a head nod or whatever, but like if I reached out for a handshake, he'd be down for it. But I have been around, like when I cornered Ben in RDA, he was really like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna, I'm gonna fight kind of thing.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. You weren't getting nothing from him. So, but I feel like he's kind of mellowed out of that a little bit in a sense. At least to the point where like prior you can be like, just respectfully like shake your hand kind of thing. But we'll see. To me it doesn't matter. Like I'm gonna fight you Saturday. Well, you can be mad at me. We can talk, have a conversation, whatever. But Saturday night it's gonna be different. We'll fight. That's fine. But I don't get like, we talked about it before. I don't get like the whole like I
macho aggression.
Marketing, whatever, but like, man, we're gonna get paid to do it on Saturday. Like, it's just not worth my energy to put into like,
Yeah.
This is gonna sound so silly, but I feel this way when I've sparred with certain people. If I know the person's like a really nice person, it's harder for me to like get into it. When you get into a match, if someone is more of that macho showboater, obnoxious type character, does it make it that much easier for you to just let loose? Have you ever could it be a struggle going up against someone who you consider a classier, more sportsmanship like opponent, if that makes sense?
I mean, I understand it. Like, it's definitely, one of those things. I think there is a little bit extra when someone's like showboating around or whatever, you kind of just are just ready to go, when they're nicer. But when they're nicer, it's not like, I guess as instant, but I don't know. It's weird. It's like when I get in there and they're just like, you ready? It's like, boom, we're ready to go. Like we're just going forward and throwing punches. Let's go. From the moment he says, fight. So I don't really seem to have an issue with that, but I can definitely see how, you can want to get a jump start on somebody who's being like all showboaty or cocky or whatever. But for me, I always keep the mindset of just like, all right, you just do you, man. We're gonna see. Yeah. In the end, we'll see.
That's scarier to me, actually. I'd be more scared of my chilled out opponent than someone acting a fool,
Yeah.
Yeah. Bam, I appreciate it so much, man. You're coming here on Fight Week as you have on the last couple. So I really appreciate you doing that for us, man. You're in Florida. So good luck on this fight. I'm gonna let you go because I know you've got interviews to get to. And so, you gotta prep, you gotta get all your stuff ready.
I gotta do my hair, I gotta comb my beard.
Yeah. Braydbunch, you got one more thing you wanted to ask?
I was just gonna say, be proactive and find a pizza place that you can order from beforehand.
Thank you. I will. Hey, I put out like a post of like asking people in Orlando, like, what's the best pizza place? I only got 2 responses. I was like, man, is pizza that bad or what?
I didn't want to ruin your like pie dreams, right? But what I'll just say is I regretted the pizza I ordered last time I was in Orlando. So,
okay.
But I'm from New York.
Well, where did you order? Where did you order? So I know where not to order.
You
remember?
I don't even remember the name, but it was on Grubhub. That's what I remember.
I found this one place. Well, this guy recommended it, and it was one of the places. I looked it up, and their pies look huge. They look good. My wife kind of complained about what their crust looked like. Because we normally eat like Neapolitan pizza or whatever, but this is like kind of like New York style. But it looked really good. So we'll see. They close definitely before the fight's going to be over. So I would have to like get it beforehand and heat it up, which I probably wouldn't even heat it up. I just eat it. But yeah, we'll find something.
There's got to be something, Bam. Before we let you go, are the nails painted already?
Oh, war paint, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
You got the yellow like the shorts with the blood.
I love it.
Very nice. Your daughter's getting more artistic in her older age.
Yes, she says there's always blood splattered on my stuff. So
that's awesome, man. Bam, thank you so much, buddy. Before we let you go, is there anything that you wanted to say? Anything that you wanted to shout out?
Well, that's an awesome little dog there.
Yes.
Oh, Snickers. Snickers is in.
Snickers is the dog.
Yeah.
Okay. Aw. You. Of course, just my wife, my amazing wife, and my kids, Deegan, Chael, Tevia. I just love them so much, and I know they're always supporting me and here with me. And man, really, that's what drives me the most. And really, being with them makes me the best version of myself. So I'm looking to go out there and put on a hell of a performance again for myself. I'm gonna have some fun. And Timmy, for you, Braydbunch, thank you for the interview. Sponsors, Sweet James, my accident attorney, my guy, my good friend. If you ever need an accident attorney, he does California, Arizona, Nevada. He's spreading all over. Just look him up if you need some help.
Awesome.
He's the man. Frozen North Hemp for my CBD needs for recovery. Combat Corner, I use their gloves. They're great. I use them all camp. Egg Weights had sent me some stuff, trying them out. They're awesome. So check those out. Am I missing it? Oh, Muddy River Distillery. Boom.
Oh.
We got something special coming. Making my own rum. So we're working on it.
That's awesome.
Nice. That's awesome, man. I know. I always see them on your Instagram. Guys, if you don't already follow BamBam on Instagram, follow Bryan_Barberena. If you're a fan of this podcast, you definitely already follow Bam.
And I have an Instagram you could follow. Yeah, he got it. Bryan_Barberena, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I haven't been
Twitch.
Twitch. I have a Twitch. Yeah, I haven't been as active on social media just because I don't know. I've just been kind of enjoying the moments of life, and it's hard to have a camera taking pictures and following everything. And I thank you to everybody who follows me and supports me, and I know they love to see my life and everything, but sometimes I just need to enjoy my life. So I put out there update when I can, and I just want to say love all the support, and thank you so much to everybody out there.
Bam, you're the greatest, man. Good luck. We will be cheering for you like insane, crazy for you, man. Go find that pizza. Go shake hands with RDA before so you get your moment. I know you've been dying for a moment in these past so many fights.
If we don't shake before, after is fine.
Yeah.
It's all good. Either way, I mean, no hard feelings if you didn't want to or whatever. I totally understand. To each their own. I will definitely talk after, hopefully. I respect the guy, huge fan. He's a legend himself. So I'm just looking forward to Saturday night.
The shoey, get the wife's shoe all ready, spit
I
ready.
feel kind of bad though. Like she's gonna have to walk around in a soggy shoe.
Is she gonna be in your corner for this fight?
She is.
So she'll get those new rock shoes.
Yeah, soggy rock shoes.
Hey, soggy rock shoes are the best kind of rock shoes. Bam, all the best to you, man. Go kick ass. Enjoy fight week because this is a co-main, so I'm sure you're gonna have lots more media opportunities and things like that. So enjoy it. Enjoy being the focus of attention and enjoy the fight, my friend. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
All the best, buddy. Have a good one. See you, buddy.
Bye.
All right.
That was awesome.
Braydbunch, my favorite guy in the whole world. He's my favorite fighter. Him, his family, his wife, everyone. They are beautiful, and we love them so much. So good luck to Bryan BamBam Barberena.
Yes, and DDA.
And and thank you, DDA, for cutting the mustache. That is so funny that he would force that guy to do that. Braydbunch, thank you for joining. This was a kind of last minute podcast because BamBam just flew into Florida. He just made it into the hotel, and man, I love him so much. So he said, hey, once I get into the hotel, but we didn't know when that was going to be. And so thank you for coming on too. I'm so glad that you're here.
No problem. I'm happy I made it. I hope I didn't sound too silly. It's been a long day, but
no, it was perfect. No, hey, I feel like we are already developing a good chemistry with the interviews. I did have someone message me after our last podcast last week saying, let Braydbunch ask more questions. I was like, yeah, we're figuring it out. We're figuring out the flow, but I'm kind of watching the screen and I'm seeing when I feel like you want to chip in. So no, you're doing great. I really appreciate it.
And you know what? In the future, I will come with better questions too. But yes. And you know what? I felt you. Brady, you want to say something? So thank you. And honestly, part of me being here, at the end of the day, just like you, I'm a fight fan. And sometimes I get overwhelmed because I'm like, here I am talking to like
people that we idolize. Like,
yes.
Right? Like idolize them. And they're people that we've watched for our whole, for a lot of our lives, and fans of, like I said, my wife can barely watch a BamBam fight now because she's too emotionally invested. I get it. It's like I love this guy too much. Like I can't, it's hard, I do want to say for the next podcast that for friends of the podcast update, I want to do this for sure. Bryan BamBam Barberena obviously fights this weekend. Eric Anders, who we interviewed last week, he fights this weekend as well. So both of those guys are on the card. Watch that. On ONE FC, we've got ONE FC on December 2nd, which is Friday, next Friday. Denise Zamboanga, one of our best guests, she fights at ONE Amazon Prime. That's a massive fight for Denise Zamboanga. And then the next day, ONE FC 164, December 3rd, Jenilyn Olson fights, the graceful Jenilyn Olson. She has a big fight with ONE FC, so good luck to her.
That's awesome.
Alexa Culp, she's fighting at FAC 17 on December 10th. She's the one that she did the podcast with us. She was in her car while a tornado was going around her. So she's badass. So we're good luck to her. And of course, I want to give shout out to RageWorksNetwork.com. That's the podcast network that we're in New York City. rageworksnetwork.com. Braydbunch, next week on the podcast, and I hope you're here for this one, we have someone coming on the podcast, and I'm going to play a little audio clip that they sent me to promote it. So I hope that you can hear this.
I'm here with Fight Insight Podcast. It's Big Sam, social media influencer / comedian / boxer. I'm here. Fight Insight Podcast. Let's go.
I love it.
Big Sam. He is at It's Big Sam on Instagram. He's the guy that is scheduled to fight Trap Daddy Gambino on December 10th. So he's coming on the podcast next week. We've been talking about him a long time, ever since I even heard who he was. I've been talking to him. He finally has this fight lined up. So he's going to come on the podcast next week. We'll talk to him. We'll see how things are going there. I do want to say there's one thing I wanted to talk about, which was Kayla Harrison.
Yes.
All right. Kayla Harrison fights at PFL. She loses the finals.
Yes.
Undefeated record down the tubes, gone. My issue with this, pretty much, is, she was talking all this smack about wanting to fight Cyborg. I'm the greatest woman of all time. Greatest female fighter of all time. Never fought anybody that we've ever heard of.
Yes.
Right? I don't think you can afford to lose in PFL now. Because now that whole aura is gone.
So you know what? It's complex. I think that. So I agree with you that her value in stocks has dropped tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me really wishes. So I know it came across like maybe she was talking some smack, and part of me wonders how much of her calling herself the queen of MMA, calling out Cyborg, how much of that is coming from her and her own mind and heart. And then maybe how much is that coming from the team that handles her or people involved in certain organizations? What I will say is I've been pressured with my little silly boxing sometimes to call certain people out and whatnot. So part of me sitting here wondering if some of that came just sincerely from her, thinking she's ready, she's the best, she wants to fight the best.
Yep.
Or was it more of a marketing thing? What I will say is this. It definitely hurt her brand. What I will give her is she didn't lose as bad as a Ronda Rousey did.
Yes, right. It was very close. Could have been gone either way, the decision.
Yes. Yeah. I also have to wonder. I'm so bad with some of these names, but Pacheco, I'm forgetting her first name, who she fought and lost. Yeah. Well, just looking at that girl's body and physique, she changed, right? She literally put on muscle, lost a lot of weight. So first of all, am I upset that Kayla lost? Was it underwhelming? Yes. But part of me thinks that the critics, we may be a little too hard on her, because what I will say is this. I think she got a reality check. Yeah. As we know in MMA, there's really very few people with undefeated records. And if they're undefeated, people will talk smack about that.
Yeah, that they never challenged themselves, that they never put them in the situations that they needed to. Yeah.
Yes, right. So what I'll give her is I think she was trying to put herself in those situations. And I think she had a hungry competitor that lost to her twice already and put in the time and work and learned her puzzle.
Yeah. And it was for $1 million.
Yes.
Right? Like these PFL finals are for $1 million. So yeah, it's a big thing. Now, here's a couple things. It was on a pay-per-view card.
Yes, which was a mistake to begin with, in my opinion. They shouldn't have had a pay-per-view.
Oh, that PFL should not have had a pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Of course. Stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's on a pay-per-view card. So here's one thing. Did she fall prey to the stress of the event? Like, was it that, hey, I couldn't handle the pressure of it being a pay-per-view, even though for all intents and purposes, it looked exactly like any other PFL card. Like there was no difference, which same as like UFC, right? Like a fight night really looks exactly the same as a pay-per-view. There's really no difference.
Yeah.
But was there added pressure, and did she fall under the stress of that, which would not be great? She was she went online as saying she only had 2 more fights under her contract. And just before this fight, she was kind of bad mouthing PFL a little bit, saying, hey, they didn't promote this fight enough, blah, blah, blah. She was kind of talking smack about her own promotion. Mm-hmm. And she kind of implied, in 2 fights, I'm not going to be here anymore.
Yes.
Well, guess what now, man? If you lose, you lose the undefeated. If you lose 1 more, PFL may be the only place that might sign you. And if you've been talking smack about them, they may be like, no thanks, I don't even want to sign you anymore. Like, there's a chance that she could go unsigned.
You know what? So I feel like if PFL does that to her, but who knows? Maybe I'm too nice.
Like if PFL says, we don't want you anymore.
Yeah, I think that would be foolish of them in a way.
But why, though? You can't keep giving this girl $1 million every week.
So, but guess what? It kind of worked out in the sense that she didn't get that $1 million. But what I will say is this: the PFL, I would occasionally catch it on TV in the past, right? I really
by accident is what you're saying.
Yes, I didn't pay attention until I saw her ads. Really, right? Mm-hmm. I saw highlights about her. Now, here's the truth: she's still not very well known compared to the mainstream.
Hold on, I'm going to just break in here for 1 second. I'm surprised. She's only got 177,000 followers.
Yeah.
That's pretty small for the greatest woman of all time.
See, but you know what? I'm going to almost make so I hear you. I'm going to make the comparison to boxing, though, because I'm so bad. But when is it Bivol beat Canelo, right?
Yeah.
I think Bivol maybe only had like 12,000 or something followers, right?
Yeah. But she's out there saying she's the greatest of all time.
So you are right. And whereas that story was like people were surprised. Meanwhile, he was already talented and deserved more. So guess what? I agree with you, right? I just worry that I don't know. Like, okay, here to put it in perspective, Aspen Ladd. Yeah.
205,000.
She made 205,000 with her fight.
No. She has 205,000 followers.
Oh, followers.
She's got more followers than Kayla. And Aspen Ladd was an unsuccessful UFC fighter. No disrespect, but like, you know what I mean? Like she was never a champion, whatever, but she's got more followers. I don't know. I don't know what value Kayla Harrison brings.
But here's the thing. What I'll say about Aspen, one thing I've learned is any press is technically good press. So her bad press brought her attention. Half those people probably following her are haters, right?
Oh, 100%.
But guess what? I bet you the PFL was like, hey, here's this girl who's hasn't made weight, hasn't been successful in different areas, but she has a decent following. Let's go pay her for this quote unquote super fight. And what I'll say too, it was a little weird in my opinion to have Aspen Ladd as a random match on the PFL final card because it kind of just didn't fit in, right?
Well, hold on. I think the reason why is because they were trying to set up Aspen Ladd versus Kayla Harrison.
Right.
Which I think the fight still works. Who cares that Kayla lost? I think what they really needed was to make sure that Aspen Ladd won.
Yeah.
Like Aspen Ladd, you had to win your fight, and then win or lose, you can fight Kayla next. Because Kayla said she's not fighting in the tournament anymore. She just wants to fight normal fight. Like her next 2 fights are just regular fights, not the season.
All right.
So I think that definitely sets up now you get this Aspen Ladd fight, which fine. But man, Aspen Ladd does have a lot of experience. And if she were to beat Kayla, that would be huge for PFL. Because you got Aspen Ladd coming in. You're right. And they put her on the pay-per-view card, like as if she was a draw.
Yes.
But it was to set up that Kayla. And then Kayla's kind of on the way out. So maybe this helps you build up your next 145-pound star.
Interesting.
I just don't know where Kayla's going to go next. I feel like this loss is crazy. So, and this highlights, don't talk bad about your own employer. Don't talk bad about your promotion because now this happens. And I don't know if Bellator is like, okay, well, how much am I going to pay her now?
See, but I'm going to throw something out to you. You don't think the UFC is going to come in and lowball her? Like,
no,
hey,
because who's she going to fight? They don't have a 145-pound division anymore. And okay, this segues into something else. I'm trying to get Chelsea Chandler, who's in the UFC. Do you know Chelsea Chandler?
Wait, Chelsea Chandler, is it?
Not Chelsea Handler, the comedian. Chelsea Chandler. She's a
up.
145er that apparently, and I figured this out through some posts. She was kind of vocal about saying the UFC is almost holding her hostage because, and I'm totally paraphrasing off of like this is broken telephone times a million, but apparently I think she's saying the UFC is saying, hey, we only have 135-pound fights for you, so you either have to lose 10 pounds or we have nothing. Like there is no 145-pound division. So that's another reason why a defeated Kayla Harrison is never going to get to the UFC, because if you were going to do anything in 145, you had to bring a undefeated record, I feel, because there's no division. There's no division. And anyways, I'm trying to get Chelsea Chandler on the podcast. I have made contact. She has kind of agreed. I just got to find a timing, but.
And I see her last weigh-in listed on Tapology was 140, right? So
Chelsea Chandler's? Yes.
Yes.
I think it was like a catch weight or something like that.
Yes, right. But you know what? Hearing this frustrates me because so I agree with you hearing all this about the UFC, but like in my opinion, there's more than enough fighters out there.
145.
Meaning how do I put this? I think they should just round up all the 145 talent they can across the globe. Maybe have a tournament like we talked about. Bring people like Kayla in. You could get Cyborg to come back. Who the hell knows, right?
There's not enough though, Braydbunch. That's what happened when they had the 145 in the first place. They wanted Cyborg to have a division, and then they just kept bringing in girls with like 0 fights, and they're like, okay, fight Cyborg for the title. Like, there's just not enough, and you'd have to build it up so much. And I think UFC relies on like PFL and other leagues to like build up talent. And at some point they'll go, okay, let's bring in some people, but you can't just bring in like the Ultimate Fighter reality show and just have it happen over the whole year. Like, it's hard. And people don't want to see those featherweight fights on the card now because I think they're like, well, there really is no division. So what are we wasting time? Give us another strawweight fight or, like a division that's active. Like, I don't know. I don't know. They don't have unlimited money too. Like, cause then to have all these girls on, you got to like,
that's true.
I just think, I don't know what's going to happen to Kayla. I wish her all the best, obviously.
So do you think there's a way for her to cut to 35?
No, she looks massive. She's a big girl. Like, she's very big and strong. Yeah. I don't think she's cutting an extra 10 pounds. No, maybe if they fudge the scale or something, she could make 135, but maybe touch a towel like Cormier, maybe do something shady. Yeah.
See, but I still have faith, though. My last thing I'm going to say, I think Kayla has a long career. Whether or not, wherever she ends up, I have a feeling that, here's the truth, I think she'll stay at PFL and make the best of it for now. Yeah. And
it's the same as Marlon Moraes, right? Marlon Moraes on this PFL card lost.
Yes.
And I think that's doomsday for him too, because when you're a UFC fighter and you come in and then you lose, I feel that's really detrimental to your stock, because they were probably paying you a little bit of a premium because of your name and the following you're going to bring. And then if you lose, they're going to be like, oh boy, like then I might as well invest in our other talent.
Speaking of things going a completely different way, that guy who won the co-main event, I'm so bad with names.
Oh boy, don't even ask me. Okay, yeah.
But like, he won the Ultimate Fighter or lost.
Wait, Aubin Mercier, the French Canadian kid.
He won, which had me ecstatic. I'm a fan of him.
Yeah.
Was that his story? Was it that he
was the Ultimate Fighter champion, I think, from Canada. Yeah, the Canada versus Australia one, maybe, or something like that.
All right, that's what it was. And then he went on to here. But know what it is? So I'm mixing up two stories. There's another guy.
Yeah.
In the actual co-main event. I think the Canadian one was right before it. But,
okay, yeah.
I think it was something like maybe he lost. Maybe it was a Contender Series fight. Meaning he didn't get picked up. He didn't get
right. Yeah.
And now he just won $1 million.
Sure. Well, no, but that's the same as Olivier Aubin Mercier, OAM, right? The French Canadian kid. Same thing. I think he was like 5-4 in the UFC or 4-5 in the UFC, right? Not having a great career, gets let go, goes to PFL, and now wins $1 million.
Yeah. So you know what
Like,
though?
do it. Like,
So but then here's my question. When we're talking about Kayla and the UFC, part of me thinks it would be a dumb move for her to even jump to the UFC to begin with. Like,
sure, but I think these people want the glory of saying I was UFC champion.
The fame, the pay-per-views,
right? We were talking off air, and I know we're running late on time ish, but we were talking off air that Bryan Barberena, his fight with Matt Brown, I think it was the last on his contract. And he never even told anyone. He didn't say it to me on the podcast. I never saw it in any interviews. He never really said it. And then after, he re-signed, and I think he kind of was publicly saying like, hey, if I signed with UFC, I was going to keep fighting. If not, I wasn't going to keep fighting. I think that was kind of the story that he had let out.
Yeah.
I think some people, and I think Chris Beast Boy Barnett kind of said something along those same lines. I think a lot of people are like, hey, once I make it to UFC and I get that name and whatever, that's that aura, that's that thing that I want. And I think it also brings with it a bunch. Like, I think then like seminars and speaking engagements and whatever in the future, you're always the UFC athlete.
That's true.
I think that brings a lot, right? Like, if you want to do a signing at your local, Olive Garden, UFC's Kayla Harrison brings more people to the yard than PFL's Kayla Harrison.
Organization. You're completely right.
And I think that's part of it. And I think probably being in the UFC, even for one fight, would probably double her following. Like, that 177K, I'm sure doubles.
I think you're right.
With just one, we're all essentially we're all striving for the Braydbunch level of following.
You know what? Some people need to start making music.
Yeah.
You know what? Here is the truth. Sometimes we were talking about it earlier, numbers and all that, right? And I know we're short on time, but that is needed. I think someone like a Kayla Harris, some people, rather than getting managers, go find people that can help you market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Build that brand, spread it. So when you said she was talking smack about the PFL not pushing the fight enough. Well, guess what? She could have pushed the fight herself, marketing herself. But yeah, I'm just blabbering.
No. I agree. I think, look, whether you have 2 weeks or 2 months, I still think you can do a lot. But I get it. I guess a lot of it is helped if the promotion was doing it themselves too. Or maybe you're saying, hey, I could do more myself, but I need more time because in those last 2-3 weeks, I got to focus on my training, right? Yes. Like BamBam was saying, like, hey, look, I'm not doing anything. I'm just training and then spending time with family. So, but anyways.
I'm sorry to go back.
No, go.
You mentioning BamBam, you asked him about the World Cup. If he was watching the World Cup this week, I would think he's a little crazy. And I'm a diehard soccer fan. He should be just focused on this fight, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But
yeah. Actually, that's right. I was tricking him with that question. And if he had answered I'm watching soccer, I'd be like, what the hell's wrong with you, Bam? Like, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that's good. He's such a cool dude. He's so funny. He's just so down to earth, so straight arrow, so nice. Like, just such a nice guy.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's so funny.
A fan for life. And you know what?
And you watch him fight, and he's insane. So, guys, this weekend, definitely tune in to watch our friend Bryan Barberena co-main event.
He's been saving all that energy. No sparring this camp, just to save it for this fight. I can't wait.
I really see this as essentially a breakthrough fight for him. Right? Gets a lot of eyes on this card. This is one of the last cards of the year. People are going to be watching this for their UFC fix. And then you see BamBam fight another legend, right? And hopefully get a very impressive win. I think RDA is a guy that's going to stand up against him. It's going to be a good war. And I really trust in BamBam. So good luck to our good friend, man. I'm so praying that he wins and takes it through. I just want him not only win, but come through unscathed.
Yes.
Have a nice Christmas with the family. Enjoy the win. Enjoy the life. No matter what it is, I know he's going to enjoy his life because he's blessed in life. But yeah, Braydbunch, that is the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on, like making the time and coming on last minute. I really appreciate it because I do enjoy talking fights with you. Next week, we have a lot of stuff to talk about, but we do have Big Sam coming on the podcast, and we will see what's up with him. So Braydbunch, before I let you go, anything that you wanted to say?
You know what? I hope that everyone who's watching, you take the time to subscribe, spread the word, talk about Bam, spread the word about Timmy B, and I'm looking forward to being back in the future.
That's right.
And
yes, I apologize for my weird attire today, but I had to, wear all my BAM clothing.
And I hope you're wearing it when you're watching the fight.
Of course. I might not take it off until the fight. Braydbunch, thank you so much.
Thank you.